Sean, 2020 has been an interesting year, and many of us are just clinging to things that we can depend on. So I've got something for you.
Oh, I
You
need
can
it.
depend on the fact that in 2021, you will have to pay taxes. That's right. The United States tax system, it's very complicated. It is sure to evolve. And that is why, in fact, we've invited on our next guest.
Yeah, I do not have the time. It's a long bathroom read, I'll tell you. So, hey, why not somebody else read the IRS code? That's Derek Hatch. He's attorney with Jeffrey Burr. It's great to have you, my friend. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Let's talk about this. Obviously, no one likes paying taxes. And this time, if you really think about it, because we got our tax day was a little bit later in 2020, we're going to pay taxes twice in the same year or within the same 12-month span, which is meh. When it comes to tax law, though, why is it important to have an attorney and not just Google the answer?
I think for many reasons, having a professional assist you. Oftentimes, when I'm speaking to groups, I let them know that, I tried at one point putting in overhead storage bins in my garage and drilled into a gas line. Thankfully, there was
Oh,
nothing serious bad happened, but the Henderson cavalry came and they were amazed that I didn't hurt myself. So when I drill into the wall now, I call it professional. So,
nice.
so many times I see people where they tried to go at it themselves, um, going up against the IRS, and there a lot of times certain rights are extinguished that they
Yeah.
didn't know about, and it's hard to go back up that hill once you've slid down. So,
Mm.
so just getting the right advice earlier on in the process is really critical.
Certainly. I mean, there's some things in life it really is best to call in the pros. I'm happy you call a pro about your gas line nowadays. In terms of folks or businesses who might have debts, there are ads on TV, on the radio right now saying that the IRS can settle debts for pennies on the dollar. Is this in fact the case?
Yep, we hear them all the time. And as crazy as it sounds, the IRS does settle with taxpayers. The Internal Revenue Code has provisions in it, and they were recently updated in 2012 after the Great Recession. The IRS modified it, and they came out with the Fresh Start Initiative, which really gave people that had gotten behind and gotten kicked in the teeth by the recession a way to be able to resolve any past debts that they'd gotten behind on. But as crazy as it sounds, they do it, but it is in limited circumstances,
Yeah.
and it is based primarily on your finances. So they do a thorough analysis of your ability to pay, and based on that, sometimes they base it on um, other equity considerations. Whether you're suffering from terminal illnesses or your children have certain needs that have to be met.
Mm.
So as tough and as mean as the IRS are, they are really willing and able to cooperate with taxpayers to settle those debts.
I'm thinking, I mean, the last, the Great Recession, now you're thinking the Great Pandemic. I mean, a lot of people have been affected by this, business owners, employees. If they have IRS debt that's haunting them, I'm assuming this can help them out?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, right now I just have so many people that have called in that have gotten behind on their taxes from being laid off, losing their jobs, that you could name the list. A fourth of the people in the Valley have been affected by this. So,
Mhm.
based on that, the IRS, whether it's doing it through what they call currently not collectible status, where you can call IRS or through your advisor, they'll call and place you into currently not collectible status,
Mhm.
where they say, "Hey, we'll leave you alone until you get back on your feet, and then when you do, you can start making payments, or you can do an installment agreement. IRS will let you do that." The Fresh Start Initiative really expanded the rules for the amount that you owe that qualifies to do an installment agreement, as well as the length of time that you can do it. So, and then also obviously offers and compromise. That's where you hear, "Hey, I owed him 100,000 and I settled for 10,000 or something."
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
And so,
Derek, we have just about a minute left, but a couple more things we want to ask you. Speaking of hardships, pandemic's been so rough on small businesses. What about a small business right now that receives an IRS audit? What advice do you have for them?
first of all, is usually contact your advisor. If it's something that your advisor can assist you with, or if you don't have one, reach out to a tax attorney or to someone qualified to be able to give you advice on that. There's so many rights that are associated with audits that you want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. too many people tried to do an audit by themselves, and it's like an old law partner of mine said, it's like going to a gunfight with a knife. You need to have counsel and have that advice.
Oh,
You will not win. It'll be very bad for you.
yeah.
Okay, 30 seconds, rapid fire. A lot of stress in relationships right now. Some people getting divorced. What if the IRS ends up auditing one of these exes? Does the other ex then get contacted by the IRS and maybe have to owe?
Happens all the time, sadly. And it's when they file joint returns, both of you are jointly and severally liable for the debt. But the IRS thankfully has a provision called innocent spouse relief, where you can ask for relief from that ex-spouse as if it was really theirs and it was their responsibility to pay it. IRS will consider those factors and let the innocent spouse off the hook.
10 seconds, Biden administration tax changes. You see anything?
Changes.
Yeah, the big one. Estate tax is likely going to be reduced. Depends on what happens in the Georgia races, but that one likely will be reduced from the 11 million exclusion down to 5 million, maybe 3 million. Depending on what happens, capital gains could go up, but those are really the big ones.
Well, I have no estate.
Derek.
So very little. They're not going to affect me. It's great to have you, my friend.
Thank you for your
joining us.
thoughts. Very interesting.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, JJ.
If you need some advice, my goodness, they can help you out over at Jeffrey Burr. Go to jeffreyburr.com or call the number you see right there on your screen. Jeffrey Burr Limited, a proud sponsor of The Morning Blend.